So Don Henley is disciplined. He's decisive. He's brilliant, and he's really honest.
That was Stan Lynch, formerly of the Heartbreakers, who got a second life working with Don Henley, which led to so many other things. So get ready for him to be talking about his brand new band, the songs on the new album, and of course, Don Henley. I've interviewed a lot of people who have worked with Henley. Bill Simzik, the producer, who came on board with the Eagles with On the Border. Randy Meisner, Bernie Ledden, Glenn Frey's songwriting partner, Jack Temchin. A lot of people who have, been surrounded and had worked and got to know Don Henley. But Stan Lynch gives us an interesting perspective on Henley, who has always been my favorite member of the Eagles. That and a lot more on Rock History Music. He was the backbeat behind one of America's most iconic rock bands, and then he walked away. Stan Lynch was born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1955 and raised in Gainesville, Florida. He became the original drummer for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, helping them shape signature southern-tinged no-nonsense rock that defined the 70s and 80s. A founding member in 76, Lynch's crisp, punchy drumming helped propel the band through a string of hits and legendary albums. From their breakthrough self-titled debut in 1976 with songs like Breakdown and American Girl, to their even bigger third album Damn the Torpedoes in 79, featuring Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, and Here Comes My Girl. Lynch laid down the rhythm that gave the Heartbreakers their power and drive. He was there through Hard Promises in 81, Long After Dark the following year, Southern Accents in 85, and Let Me Up I've Had Enough in 87. Anchoring tracks like You Got Lucky, The Waiting, and Jamming Me, with a feel that was equal parts muscle and heart. But behind the scenes, creative tensions were growing. By the early 90s, Lynch, long known for his fiery personality, began to drift apart from Petty and the band. After playing on Into the Great Wide Open in 91, Lynch began parting ways with the Heartbreakers. And by 94, he was out. His final appearance with the band was with their induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, something to be very proud of in 2002. But rather than fade away, Stan Lynch launched a prolific second act, something that's very rare in rock and roll. He became an in-demand producer, songwriter, and session drummer, often working behind the scenes with some of the biggest names of the era. Most notably, he became a trusted collaborator with Don Henley of the Eagles, co-writing and playing on songs like The Heart of the Matter, Last Worthless Evening, and New York Minute. From Henley's biggest album in '89, The End of the Innocents. Lynch also worked with the Eagles, Bob Dylan, Jackson Browne, the Mavericks, Eddie Money, and Toto, among others, often bringing his deep musical instincts and sharp pop rock sensibilities into the studio. He even co-wrote tracks for Tim McGraw and Joan Osborne, proving his range beyond classic rock. Though no longer a heartbreaker, Tom Petty passed away October 2nd, 2017. Lynch's imprint remains. His drumming on those early records continues to influence generations, and his songwriting legacy is quietly woven into the fabric of modern American rock. Stan Lynch, a drummer who knew how to hit hard and when to walk away. To you, Don Henley is?
He's the reason I have a second chapter. He's the whole reason. Without like he invited me, and that's an invitation only room. You don't knock on Don Henley's door, one of the greatest writers America's, we've had. You don't got to knock on his door and go, "Hey buddy, can I write some songs with you?" No, that happens as a result of him extending himself and saying, "Hey man, jump in here." And so Don Henley is disciplined. He's decisive. He's brilliant. And he's really honest. I mean, man, if you, especially in the work mode is what I'm referring to. And as a dude, he'll just say, "Man, you don't want to do that," or that's not. And it's when you get a big brother like that later in life, like, man, that's just gold. So my friendship with him is the most important thing. I mean, if we never write another song or make any more music again, I still want to take a canoe trip with him and go fishing. I want to hang because he's got a way of looking at life and an intellect. And Sharon's the same way. They're both, man, they're family to me. They are absolute brothers and sisters.
That song, there's something about that Last Worthless Evening made me think. That was one of those songs that I'd stop. I just moved to Vancouver, and it's one of those going on the side of the road kind of songs for me and listening. Tell me about that tune.
Well, that's really Don. I mean, the collaborators that are involved in that are all just following him at that point. And it's early in my time writing with Don. So basically I'm facilitating, at that point. I mean, let's be honest. I'm just going, maybe I can help, or maybe this will bring this further down the line. But that was we'd only written a couple songs together at that point. And over time it became more like I could bring more to the table. But yeah, that's a fortunate song. It's hung in really well. It's a beautiful song. I mean, it really is a country song, quite honestly. Could be a girl could sing it, a boy could sing it. It's a good country tune.
Stan, you say something interesting. I think the first step is to be envious. But unfortunately, sometimes that's the only step for people. And hook or crook, nurture nature, who knows what keeps them there. But I think envy is one of it's usually it's common for it to be a first step. It's a learn envy. You can learn a lot from being envious of people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I would try to, convert the word envy, maybe just soften it to just say appreciation. Like there's it's, there's some things that are just, some emotions tend to have a destructive end to the game. Like that emotion probably might get you to a car wreck. You know what I mean? Like you got to be careful. But appreciation, like what's the downside of that? Or so as I've gotten older and having been in a band and I'm in another one now, I have to learn to not have a gag reflex to things that I don't understand or don't understand immediately. Like, because that's destructive. And it also can depress the whole freaking room. It's like what my end game is: joy, creativity, kindness, longevity. So if I define my end game, I have to make sure that all of my emotions, you know, take me there. And that's just an evolution in life. Like, man, I wish that this guy talking to right now could have met my 19-year-old self and explained to him, we can avoid a whole lot of trauma if you will just follow this church.
Well, I think the older you get, your filter, gets pretty tight. And also the older you get, you don't have time to write bullshit. You just don't. And that's one of my favorite things I like about writing with Stan. We're writing for ourselves. And if the world likes it, hallelujah. If not, we still like it. And I think that's I don't know how to approach art any other way. It's got to get you pretty pumped up. Otherwise, what am I doing? Writing a freaking ad or a commercial? So yeah, I think Stanley and I have both gotten. Uh, I mean, we have such a wide range of uh, inspirations and influences. That doesn't change, but I think your filter, the older you get, you just like, I'm smelling some bullshit. So you try to keep it about right here. Like, okay, that's where we live. And then we bring in all our beautiful influences, whether it's the Beatles or Lee Von Helm or, BB King. But it comes down like, well, that's there you go. That's the truth. And let's just work on that.
You gotta feel that chemistry with someone. I mean, you obviously felt that with Stan, and Stan, you with John.
I always loved the way he would swing. It's like, well, it's the truth. Like my favorite drummers are drummers who sing, drummers who write. And I don't know, it's like, it just felt like a good old pair of faded 501 jeans. Like, well, this just fits. It just did. And he's been nice enough to, tolerate me.
Every lie come true. Stan and I talked about the sequencing of the album the first time we talked. There's that. I just love. I'm obsessed with sequencing of an album. I just love the way it works, and you got to come in with a kick-ass song. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, a song about determine. I always call those songs of determination. The first song on the album, it better be. Tell me about the first Every Lie Come True.
So Stanley and I wrote that song, I think it was the year 2000. That's it's 25 years old.
Wow.
And first song we ever wrote together. And I'll never forget, I think we were at his beach house and he plays some very simple chords. Hey, hey, there's nothing we can't do. Hey, hey, you make every lie come true. What do you think? And I thought, that's it? That's the chorus? Like, don't we need to put more furniture in the room? And that was what a beautiful lesson to get out of Nashville for a few days and then be reminded of your favorite iconic songs in rock and roll. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Sounds so good, say it again. Or I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Sounds so good, say it again. I still haven't found what. Refugee. Same thing as that. It was a beautiful lesson in going, man, you can find about two lines, and if you have a really cool melody and you sing it with conviction, it can really go a long way. So that's kind of how that song started, and then it became, us playing tennis back and forth lyrically. Well, fine, if we're going to live this lie, I'm going to write like Bob Dylan. Well, that's a whopper. I'm going to rock like Johnny Cash. There's another whopper. I'm going to stand on the Grand Opry and let the cameras flash. Well, this woman makes me believe my lies. And I've been in a relationship for 38 years and I still believe that I can pull this crap off. And so that, correct me if I'm wrong, Stanley, I think that was kind of the essence of the song.
Well, the nice thing about songs is they mean so many, they mean whatever. Look, what it meant to you might not have meant what it meant to me. And it's like, that's what's cool. I, I don't really know how to explain words, but I just know that at the time it's wish fulfillment, and my whole life has been wish fulfillment. Everything since high school has been, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to, it's always been full of it. I've just been bursting with great thoughts that I wanted to have happen. So to me, most of my life has just been a checklist. So for me, it all of this kind of did happen in my mind. It's like, whether I can be specific, whether I filled a pool with Dom Perignon, I don't know, but I kind of have. It's like there's very little on I have no bucket list. So that's what the song says to me. It's like there's nothing left except living. That's the only thing left on my bucket list. So, but yeah, we're all at different places in life. And I hope that when an audience listens to a song, that's the classic. Like, what does blowing in the wind mean to you? It's like, that's great. I mean, if it allows any personal fantasy to come and infect it, man, I think we've done our job. I hope it does.
Taste of Heaven. That's a gritty tune. Is there anything you can tell me about that song?
To me, it started with almost like just obsession. Generally a general obsession. And I was probably writing into like originally drug addiction. Like just kind of like, a taste of heaven. I think it reminded me of like, like certain drugs are like they're a cheap cab ride to heaven. You know what I mean? It's like, but and then certain women in my life, have been sort of had that effect on me earlier in life where I couldn't reason my way with this. There was no way to understand what was happening to me. It was just being pulled into things. And I thought that, the taste of heaven was sort of in my mind, it was just the generic tar baby of like, don't go too close to the edge, get close enough to get warmed by the fire, don't get burned. So that's what Taste of Heaven sort of said to me. And musically, it was sort of like, yeah, what can I find a riff that's kind of evil, like, can I find something that's sort of like, kind of stings a little. So I thought that kind of worked. And John was great because total case of where we do this for each other. Sometimes the bulk of the song comes from John, and my job is to just go, good, with a big stamp across it, good. And John worked with me on that song in that way. He like, hey man, because you play things to people, your first, what does this do for you? And John immediately pulled out a stamp and goes, let's roll with this. Let me help you get your point across. Let me get this done. And sometimes collaboration is really, man, we get all up in it. And sometimes it's, hey, what do you got? Love it. And that is a really great thing for a collaborator to do, not resent a guy with a good idea. You got a good idea? Hell yes, man. I see a pair of kings right there. Let's play,
People learn what they want to learn and their life lessons are different, but that's been a hard fought one for me of going a good idea is a good, I mean, hey, that's a good idea over here,
You can't be jealous. You can't be envious. All you can do is go, wow. It's, and I've had to, because I've been around, I mean, genius is a tough word to use, but I've been in the room when a couple things were happening where I go, whoa, this is way beyond what I'm capable of. I don't even know where this is coming from. And my first thought when I was younger was to be envious. I wanted to be part of it. Or why don't I have that extra chromosome? What am I lacking? And now you just, it takes time, but you celebrate it in your own way. You just go, holy crap. Is there anything I can add? As John says all the time, can I add value? It's like, is there something I can put that, on the cereal box that says with extra protein? It's like, can I add to this? And if not, sometimes the best thing you can do is stand back and go, man, let her rip, dude. So, but that took a while, man. That took a long time.
I wish you peace. I find it interesting what you did there because first of all, I said, "Oh, it's the Bernie Len Eagle song. They redid that." And I listened to it and I'm going, it sounds like the ending of the last minute of this grand piece. Uh, and I'm going, was there ever like a beginning? It sounds like like the last part of this huge piece of music. Tell me about that song.
I appreciate the Bernie Ledden. I get it. Last track on the One of These Nights album. Totally get it. Love it. This song sounds nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
My understanding is I mean, this is several years ago. I think it was a long piece of music. And Stanley, please correct me. I think it felt like it was like 10 minutes long. Some epic. It was amazing in different arrangements and time signatures. And my memory is I heard the chorus. I'm like, well, why not just use that? It sounds epic. Sounds like an Apple commercial. Sounds like an Amazon commercial. It just sounded iconic. And that's my understanding. And he sang his ass off on it. And his Ringo influences come through on the drums. And he threw me a lob ball. Like, are you kidding? Thank you. I'll be glad to put some vocals on this. And I think I added the slide. Down, 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 down. But that's it. The rest of it, that's Stan.
To me, it all starts with saying something, like I think I was wishing the world a better day that day. To me, it all starts with the walk I live on a dirt road and I walk a couple miles on a dirt road, and whatever's comes to my head that day, I usually walk in the room and try to put it on a piece of tape so it's like a diary. So I think I was looking around just going, man, I wish you peace. It was my friends and the world. And so to me, it's all just sort of starts with a thought, like a decent thought. And then you try to figure out if you can turn that into music. But if nothing else, it's a win for me on a day that I actually have a thought that I go, oh, that's not a bad thought. Like I could follow that up. And that's where it starts for me. Yeah, I enjoy, I think there's a whole song that goes with that end. You know what I mean? That I'll have to go find it. I don't even remember. I literally don't remember it because that was the only part that John, it hooked John. And that was after that. I just went, well, great. Here, just take that, you know, but I really literally don't remember the first part of the song anymore.
Hope you enjoyed that. Remember, if you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal link at the very top of the description of all our videos. Join our Patreon. You'll get early access to hundreds of clips that have not gone on YouTube yet, just for $6 and change. Our swag store has Rock History Music t-shirts and caps with our logo on it. And when you subscribe, make sure you click the bell notification. Really, don't miss anything. Like our videos, comment on them, and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music.